So in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing my own Eula, who has been a character that I've owned for almost a year now, as you can see. I'm going to be showing her artifacts, weapon, talent levels, and her detailed stats, and also include a few damage showcases towards the later half of this video. Even though my Eula is at C1 as I got very lucky when pulling for her, she still can't consistently deal above 200 or 220k damage, which is the area that I'm usually aiming for every time I use Eula's burst. The main reason for this is her artifacts, but the weapon that she is using also contributes to it. And so after watching this video, if you have any suggestions that can help me to improve her damage, please leave a comment in the comment section, as this is what the video is made for. So these are my Eula's detailed stats. She's at 65% crit rate and 200% crit damage right now, and she has 25% physical damage bonus from her, I think it's from the artifacts if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 25%. As you can see right now, the 4-piece effect is still not triggered, and so there's not really a lot of physical damage bonus. But still, I think her stats are decent enough, especially how I have, well, 35% more energy recharge than not having any artifacts. I do feel like my Eula is sort of built, but not built to the point where I can say she's like optimal. Moving on to her weapons, as you can see, I'm using the Serpent Spine because I can't really get enough crit rate from her artifacts for her to use her burst for, and so sometimes when I use her burst, it might not crit even though it's at 65% crit rate. And to a Eula whose damage heavily depends on her burst, I feel like having enough crit rate is very important. As for the passive of this weapon, it just gives Eula a tiny bit more attack whenever she's on field. Every 4 seconds she gets a tiny damage buff, and so I think that's sort of useful, but definitely there are better weapon options out there. For example, I've got the Snow Tomb Star Silver here, and if you've got enough crit rate, you can always run this weapon as it gives physical damage bonus. And moving on to her artifacts, currently she's running the 4-piece Pale Flame set. After using her elemental skill twice, that's when she gets 50% physical damage bonus. I wouldn't say the triggering conditions for this 4-piece is that hard to meet, as in an optimal rotation, you'd be pressing Eula's E once and then switch off field and use another cryo character or just any other character that can generate a lot of energy for her to use her burst. And once you use her burst, you get another stack of her E, and that's when you can hold her E immediately because of this talent right here, which resets it. As you can see here, I would say that you should run the Pale Flame set over the Bloodstained Cavalry and Pale Flame 2-piece because you'd be able to get this extra 9% attack damage for 7 seconds. Along with getting 50% of physical damage compared to just getting the 50% physical damage bonus. I'll show you my artifacts individual stats now. As you can see, they aren't the best. I don't think that's even 30 CV, but that's the best that I have in terms of Pale Flame pieces that I have on my account. As for my feather, same story, not the best, but I guess the energy recharge is sort of nice. And I'd say the attack stance is the only sort of half decent artifact that I have on her, but it's still usable. My Eula still has 200% crit damage, and so I'm happy enough. As for the goblet, sadly I just can't get my hands onto a physical damage goblet, and so I'm running this, well, quite mediocre attack goblet. The thing is, I haven't been farming for the Pale Flame domain recently, and so this will have to do. I have sort of upgraded her artifacts throughout the year. I'd say if we go back 3 months in time, I probably won't be at 200 crit damage, let alone the 60% crit rate that I have. I'll try and farm for more Pale Flame pieces in the future, but at the moment I'm still farming for better Nahida pieces, and so I think maybe by Christmas time I'll be able to finally do some Pale Flame domain runs. But moving on to the last piece, the circlet, I'd say it's not the best, but in order to get the 4-piece, this was what I had to resort to. I'd say the other Pale Flame circlet that I have, this one which has crit rate as its main stat, isn't really that good for Eula, as I'm going to show you in 1 second. If I put this circlet on and check out the crit ratio, yeah, 90% crit rate but only 160 crit damage. In theory, I will be critting every single time with her burst, but the damage wouldn't be as high as if I use the original circlet that I had on her. And so yeah, that's why I'm running this instead of this one. Although I guess the crit damage isn't that bad, that's around 2 decent rolls into crit damage, but still I am going to be running this crit damage for the showcase later. As for her constellations, I was lucky enough to get one of it when pulling for her. Well, technically I didn't really get lucky as I was building Pity at the time. I guess this C1 is something nice to have, but At the time, I didn't really want a constellation. I was just building pity for Shenhe, which I think was the next character banner that was coming after 2.3 ends. But this C1 is quite nice though actually, because every single time Eula consumes a stack of her E, her physical damage is increased by 30% for 6 seconds, and this 6 seconds duration can be extended up to a maximum of 18 seconds, which means that in an optimal rotation, after using her E once and then using her burst and then using her E which consumes the 2 stacks, the last explosion hit that her Q does will be increased by 60% in terms of physical damage, which is very nice I guess. I have gotten 400k with her burst, and so I'm quite happy with getting the C1, even though I do moan about it quite a lot to my friends. They always tell me that I could have gotten another character with this, but oh well, a C1 is a C1. Just like my Raiden, I'll take any constellations. As for her talents, these are the levels right now. To be completely frank with you guys, I haven't been farming for her talent domain, and so as you can see, yeah, I only have 1 book of this, and I'm definitely working on triple crowning her, but at the moment, double crowning her normal attack and her burst, that will have to do. Before I show you guys her damage showcase, please keep in mind that my Eula is still not optimized, and when you see the damage numbers, please take them with a tiny grain of salt. That's all I have to say. Enjoy the montage.
の怒り競争よ決心わめきなさい走行の恩念の衝動粉々よ稲光すなわち永遠なり早く具現せよ律令に従え憲兵恩を出すよっそれ連気過信逃げ道はありません決闘せよよっはい無我の境地競争よ決心となれ具現わめきなさい兵糧のようにうなれ砕け散れ
As you just saw, the Eula team that I used can perform quite well in the Abyss, especially when the enemies are tanky. By the time you watch this video, I have probably restarted farming for better Pelflame pieces for Eula, and you should be able to find a few posts in the community tab about it. Either way, thanks for watching until the very end of this video, and if you have any suggestions that may help me build my Eula better, let me know in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and see you in the next one. Bye!